Welcome. This is MoneyHeart, where we explore the emotional side of money. I'm Camille Diaz, and today we're discussing decoding money styles. My guest is Michelle Lee Myrter. Michelle Lee is an award-winning coach and trainer and a professional speaker who comes from a 28-year background in sales and marketing for a $12 million company and also spent many years in purchasing. She built a very successful food company while also building a successful direct sales business. She will give you a system, tool, and training that will not only increase your income, but will take your relationships with your family and friends to a whole new level. Michelle, welcome to MoneyHeart.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're here, and I'm really excited about this system because you are a certified bank coach and trainer. So what's the bank system? That's BANK. What is this system? How does it work?
So the woman who invented it, her name is Sherry Tree, and she was struggling in sales. So that's why the system was originally created. And she's done so much research, and there's science behind it that backs it, predicts buying behavior. So what the bank system is, she reverse engineered personality science. We've all taken assessments, and they told us a lot about ourselves, but they never helped us increase our sales or tell us about the people that are in front of us. And whether it's sales or whatever you're doing in life, it's built on relationships. And there's certain things that drive people and motivate them, and they all have values. So this is based on other people and their values. So BANK is an acronym for the 4 personality types.
Oh, okay.
So B stands for blueprint. Your blueprint person is inside the box. They like structure and stability and systems and rules and planning. They're very organized and they hate risk.
Okay.
Then you have your action. Completely outside the box. In fact, they blew it up. There's shrapnel laying all over the place.
Anti-box, huh?
Yeah. And they like freedom and opportunities and fun and excitement and image and designer labels. So if you look at your blueprint, they're on a budget. They're looking for coupons. They're looking for the best deal. Where you go into your action, they're completely opposite. They don't want it. They don't care how much it is. If they want it, they're going to buy it. They want those designer labels. They want that people to look at them like, oh, look what they have, right? All about the image, the red carpet style. Then you have your nurturing.
Okay.
They recycled the box. They took the box, they put a gift inside, they wrapped it up, they put a little bow on top, and they gave it away. They're not interested in money. They're interested in community and teamwork and friendships and nonprofits.
Yeah.
They're the ones, they would go to like maybe a thrift store to shop. They're looking for, recycling, big, anything to make the world a better place.
Right.
And then you have your knowledge. They're the ones that engineered the box. They're looking at the other 3 codes and they're like, listen, without me, you wouldn't even have a box. They want they're about logic, science, data, research. They're the ones who, if they're going to buy something, they are going to research, they're going to compare, they're going to take time. They might go into analysis paralysis, trying to decide which one they want because they can't decide. And they're going to look at everything behind it. It's going to take them forever to make a decision. Whether it's an end table, a TV, technology, whatever it is, they need to find out what is going to be the best one because they can't be wrong.
They don't want to make a mistake with their money, so they're going to research until they feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Okay. And they do that with everything.
So even a small purchase, like what are we going to have for lunch, they're going to have to think about it.
Right.
Wow.
So what's interesting is although there's 4 personality types, which goes back to Hippocrates when he treated people with the 4 temperaments, right? And he literally treated them based on their personality. Well, there's 24 different ways somebody can show up.
So any combination of these. So we don't just have one. You're not just one of the person. You're not one of the 4. You're some combo of all 4.
Correct. And everybody has all 4 of the codes in them, just how they show up. And there's 24 different ways. An action nurturing is going to show up different than an action blueprint. The way you organize your house, the way a blueprint, a high blueprint is going to save money for a rainy day. An action,
rainy day, whatever, we'll just buy an umbrella.
Exactly. Right. Why wait for a rainy day? Let's spend that stuff now.
Yeah.
Let's get out there. So it all affects not only why you buy things, how you show up, whether you're going to have conflict because opposites attract. Oh. So everything that, is attractive for people after a while starts to irritate you. So for example,
yes.
Right. So my code is an ANBK. My boyfriend, however, is an NBAK.
Oh, that's all switched around.
Correct. So what does that mean? That means that he sends me coupons all the time. He's always got money in somewhere, like a hidden 100, just in case. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, so where we shop, what we do, the gifts you buy,
right?
It all reflects on how you show up and what your code is. I used to buy him the most amazing. One time I bought him a garage, literally a garage. He lives in New York. I live in Pennsylvania. I had a garage shipped to him.
Wow.
Because he didn't have one and he loves cars. Yeah. And of course, what was the first thing he said? How
much was this?
Yes. Okay. So
yes.
To him, what would be a great gift, which is nurturing and blueprint. He would rather spend time with me. He would rather have like a romantic dinner that, doesn't cost a fortune. Maybe I made it myself, things like that. But me, on the other hand, I want the designer labels. I want all the frills. I want to go out.
Yeah.
Right. I want that big bang. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what causes the conflict, because I went out on a whim, like woke up one day and I was like, I'm going to buy a Jeep. Did I need to get a new car? No, my car was only a year old.
Oh,
okay. So I just sent him pictures. Look, honey, look at my new Jeep.
Check it out. I did a thing.
He was like, what? How much did it cost? I was like, I don't know. Payments fit. He's like,
right.
And so that's what causes those conflicts. I know now, like if I want to go on vacation, I'm going to say, hey, there's this trip that's, if we book it today, we're going to save $2,000. Look how awesome this is. Yeah. That's going to make him say yes. Yeah. But if I go, oh, let's go to this island and it's X amount of dollars, he's going to be like, it's too expensive.
But if he knows that you've done some research and found the best deal possible for going to said island, then he's much more comfortable with going to the island because he's the blueprint personality.
If there's a deal.
If there's a deal. And you're spending time together. And so since his secondary is the nurturing, then going to the island together works because that's you two together and that's what he would like.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I see how this works because this is really interesting. And you mentioned, relationships in the beginning, and kind of everything is about relationships, not just our personal ones, but our business ones too. So how does this apply when we're in business, when we're in sales, when, we're doing marketing, that kind of thing? And how could, I guess my next question, which we probably have to answer one and then go to the next one, how can we figure this out about people without making them take the test?
Well, so here's the thing, right? There's 24 different ways a person can show up. So you have a 1 in 24 shot. So what happens is, the reason people say sales is a numbers game is because they figure they have to talk to enough people that eventually something's going to stick. Only 18% of buyers will buy from someone whose personalities don't align, where 82% will buy when they align.
Got it.
So when you meet people and you're like, oh my gosh, I love them so much. You knew them for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You aligned. You meet other people and you're like, oh, when is this conversation going to be?
When can we go?
Okay, because you didn't align. Because think of
Right.
it this way. There's 4 different languages that people speak.
Mm-hmm.
So the words and how you show up affects how they look at you and how they interpret you.
Right.
So when you know someone's bank code, and you got to know all 4 positions, because your 3rd code is your stress code. So
Oh.
I've gone into conversations wanting to buy something, showing up in my action. Yes, I'm going to do this today. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they have talked me out of it because they were a different code than me and they gave me way too much information.
Right.
And
they didn't recognize that you didn't care about the information. You were excited about the thing, and we should just talk about how great it's going to be once you
right,
have this thing. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So what happens is you get turned off. So what you say to one person may connect, but what you say to somebody else is going to completely turn them off, and you're not speaking their language. They're like, oh. And I've even tried to stop them. Like, listen, time out. Tell me what this is going to do for me. Give me the bullet points and let's move on.
Yeah.
And they aren't wired like that, because when you show up, you think you know what those people need. Mm-hmm. That was the information you needed to say yes. Mm-hmm. That was the information that made sense to you. So that's what you say. Right. And your chances, 1 in 24, right? So yeah. People leave 75% of their sales on the table by not knowing who their prospect is. They lose customers. I mean, there's people who are like, I don't want to deal with this person in this company, but I'd like to deal with them.
Yeah.
Because they align. Right. Everything's based off of relationships and how you communicate. So if you look at my kids, for example, they're 18 mm-hmm. and 20. I thought I knew them. I spent every day with them.
Sure.
But I didn't. I was stressing one of them completely out because I was showing up the way I thought they needed me to. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't what they needed at all. Wow. And the same thing happens in business. You show up how you think people need to see you. Mm-hmm. And it's not, it's like you're speaking a foreign language. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what the system does is it gives you the ability to know who your prospect is, to know who your customers are so you can retain them, to know who your team is so you know what motivates them and you know what information to give them. Right. Because if you're building a team, if you have employees, whatever that is, whatever information you're trying to communicate, think of it as an influencer. If you don't use the right words and speak the right language, you're going to lose them.
Right. You will. Yeah. Yeah. So this is really, you covered a lot there all at once. Because that concept of, if let's say I'm traveling and I'm in a country where they don't speak English, and then someone does speak English, like I hear them, I'm in a museum or whatever, and I hear someone speaking English, my brain is gonna be like, whoa, person speaking English, where are they? Do I know them? Are they from the same place? Like you're just, they could be a mass murderer hiding out, but it doesn't matter because they spoke English. So all of a sudden, I'm gonna go talk to them.
Absolutely, and that's what it is. So if you speak English, you have a connection.
Right.
Your odds of getting that sale, it's great. So one of my favorite stories is in Sherry's book. It's called Why They Buy. Okay. And she comes from a military family. And so she traveled all over the world.
Yes.
And I believe she was in France, maybe? I think she was in France. Okay. Yeah. So she's in kindergarten. It's her first year in school.
Oh, wow.
First day, she comes home. Her mom's all excited. And her mom was like, what did you learn today? And she was like, blah, 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 bonjour. Blah, 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 bonjour. And her mom was like, what? And that explains it so well, because how many times have you been in a conversation with someone,
right?
And they're just talking away and you're like
you're hearing the Charlie Brown teacher voice. Wah, 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 wah. Uh-huh.
Exactly. And that's why nothing is resonating. It's like you have a filter.
Yeah. Because you do have a filter.
Right. So what bank does is it gives you that ability to take that filter off and shift to the different languages to be able to reach all of the people, whether you're marketing, whether you're talking to a crowd, whatever it is, whoever's in front of you, family, spouse, boyfriend, whoever, you're able to understand what information they need to process. Because if it's all about relationships, it's all about not judging the other person for being different, but being able to find common ground that you can connect to.
Very much.
And it's respect.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Respecting that, okay, this is how they function. And when we're salespeople, it's not our job to try to convince them to do it our way. It's our job to figure out their way and then present them with what they need so that they're comfortable. Like that's the whole deal of being a salesperson, if you want to do it well, is to make sure you're serving your clients' needs, not your own. So if we're in this situation, whether it's personal relationships or business relationships, and we haven't had our prospect or our spouse or friend or whatever take the quiz, are there some clues we can pick up on to try to figure out what their strength might be, at least make us have like a 50-50 instead of a 25% chance, or 1 in 24 or whatever that was?
Yes. And we actually have a speed coding course that teaches you how to do that. Now, there's certain clues. And again, the best way is to have them crack their own code, because you're taking the guesswork out.
Sure. The best way would be to have them do it, but it might be a little awkward if, someone came to talk to me about something and I'm like, here, can you take this quiz first?
Well, we do have cards, which come in handy.
Oh, so that helps. Okay.
Yes, definitely. But there's certain things. So a blueprint person is going to be colder to approach. They're going to give you the traditional handshake. They're going to be dressed in business attire, very organized. Okay. Your action person, they're full of energy. Like they just drank a Red Bull. They're coming at you with high five. What's up?
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Your nurturing person, they're going to give you a hug like nobody's business. So the ones that hang on to you for like 5 minutes, and the other codes, some of them are like,
why are we hugging?
Okay. Your knowledge, they don't really like to touch people. They're not emotional. They're the ones who are like, I'll hand you a business card. Like, that's colder to approach as well. But they're not the touchy-feely kind of people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a clue when you first meet someone. Your action people, obviously, they're wearing like the bling. They have the designer labels. They have something. They're
bright colors.
Dressed to impress.
Yeah.
Right. So there's different things that give you kind of a clue as to who you're dealing with. And that's why it's so important to know who you're talking to, because your action person, the way they come at someone, they're going to turn off a blueprint. They're going to turn off a knowledge.
Right. They'll be way overbearing. And that person's going to be like, whoa, that's a lot. I'm out. Yeah.
And your nurturer is going to be like, oh my God, they're so aggressive. So that's where it comes into, oh my gosh, if you don't know who you're talking to and you show up like yourself, you're like, yeah. People are like, what just happened? You're way too risky for a blueprint to deal with. So those are the type of things that you have to look at. Now, like I said, the order matters, and that there's 24 different ways, right? So me being an action nurturing, they're very close. Yeah. So they're like a point apart. So I can teeter between the two, which is what made me better than most, not exceptional, but better than most at talking to people, because I was showing up in 2 of my dominant codes.
Right. So talk a little bit more about this stress style, because I think that was really cool when you explained it to me, how it works. Because isn't it a bit of an opposite of their primary style?
Yes. So your stress code is your 3rd position. Okay. And so when I show up in a blueprint. Oddly enough, your codes can shift depending on the situation. So when I first had kids, I actually lived in my blueprint. Oh. And yes. So
that's your stress style.
That's my stress style, because all of a sudden I had someone dependent on me. I had to have a schedule. I had to make sure they were fed. I had to do all of these things, routine, that I wasn't used to. So it put me into a place where I was incredibly stressed and incredibly not my happy self, right?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't comfortable. I didn't know why at the time, and I didn't realize. But now, like, knowing what I know now, I can connect the dots for pretty much everything that transpired in my life with my parents, why I was the black sheep, why I was always in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally piece together all of the things and you're like, now everything makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So how can we use this to build our businesses, build our relationships kind of going forward? Once you've figured out what yours are, even if you don't know the other person, what's a good way to kind of, I don't know, is it like rein it in? Is it just be aware of when you're going too far? What's your best kind of tip for once you have the information, what do we do with it?
Well, I mean, now you're aware, right? That's the
Right.
first step. There's different training. We do coaching programs that are 12 weeks long that go through actually all of the 6 intelligences.
Okay.
So it's intertwining bank with personality intelligence, business, sales, emotional, spiritual, and artificial. And it intertwines that. And all of a sudden now you're like leveling up in all areas of your life. And we even do an assessment before and after to see what the growth is. And it's amazing to see the transformations. We have workshops. There's also right now we have a Kickstarter program that's fantastic. And it's only $49. Yeah, it's only $49.95. And it gives you the Why They Buy book, 2 master classes, and a coupon to try the subscriptions. The subscriptions are being able to have a link to Decode People, and also artificial intelligence. And then there's one that has an additional like 50 hours of training.
Oh,
you can
wow.
do virtual if you like to learn by yourself. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I heard you speak to a lot of the different personalities right there. You know, like we have a coupon and all of the blueprints and the knowledge, we're like, oh, coupon. And then with all the big things that are in there, you're like, oh, your action person's like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. That's cool. You know, yeah. So I love it. I love that. How can people do the assessment? How can we figure out what we are?
So you're going to give them the link. They'll get a free assessment, and it takes less than 90 seconds. Drop and drag the cards from most important to least important. It is crack my code / Michelle.Myrter, I believe.
Perfect.
It's in there.
Yeah, that's super simple. And we'll put a link to everything on our website as well. So it'll be really easy for people to find everything. This has been so fun. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah. Michelle Lee Myrter is a certified bank coach and trainer. She encourages everyone to go for the yes, increase your revenue, close sales faster, and build better relationships. She can be reached via email at mmyrter, that's MYRTER, @gmail.com, or you can book a free discovery call at Michelle Lee, that's Michelle Lee .chat. Free assessment is available at crackmycode.com/Michelle.Myrter, MYRTER. Thank you as well to all of our listeners and viewers. I'm your host, Camille Diaz. This show is sponsored by Serenity Financial, a 5 Rings financial agency specializing in financial education, life insurance with living benefits, and guaranteed lifetime income. Be sure to follow MoneyHeart on social media at MoneyHeart Show and on our website, moneyheartshow.com. Today's money mantra is, you have to get into the right mindset about money. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.